Hey everyone, I'm Julia from Krannich Solar. Thanks for joining our webinar today with Mango Power. Before we get started, I'm just going to give a quick presentation about Krannich. Krannich Solar is headquartered in Germany and was founded by Kurt Krannich. Since being founded, Krannich has expanded into 23 different countries with the capability to ship to over 100 countries. Krannich Solar has been a strong partner to PV installers since 1995 and offers everything that is required to begin and finish your solar installation. Our international purchasing power helped us build strong relationships with your favorite manufacturers, such as Mango Power, to secure the best pricing and availability. With a growing market share, Krannich Solar is privately owned and self-financed company that ranks among the leading solar wholesalers worldwide. Our experience in delivering solar products worldwide for the last 26 years has made us experts in our field. Since 2005, Krannich expanded into the U.S. with our U.S. headquarters in New Jersey. We also have branches in California, Florida, and Texas, with additional warehouses across the nation. We are growing every day, so keep an eye out for where we might be next. Our U.S. team consists of over 80 employees that service the Americas and strive to offer the best services and options to our partners. Throughout the years, we have grown our product portfolio to provide over 5,000 products. We've partnered with leading manufacturers worldwide to offer the best material for a project of any size, whether it's an off-grid system, 4-panel shingled roof, or a megawatt flat roof. Working with Krannich Solar means you'll never work alone. With our streamlined ordering process, each customer at Krannich receives a dedicated sales rep to walk them through each step of the ordering process, from project design to on-site delivery. The solar industry is always innovating and changing. At Krannich, we do our best to make sure you know about the latest products and technologies available. We team up with industry leaders and seasoned professionals to train you firsthand on everything you need to know, and it'll always be for free. This concludes my portion of the webinar. Here's our contact information if you'd like to reach out for a quote, or if you have any questions regarding the products or services we offer. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to ask them using the question box, and then we'll be answering them throughout and at the end of the presentation. Thanks again for joining us, and now I'll pass it along to Patrick and Chris from Mango Power.
All right, let me try to get the screen here. I appreciate everybody's attendance. Is my screen showing now?
Yes, we're seeing your screen.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Julia, for having us today. It is truly a pleasure to be partnering with Krannich, and I appreciate the opportunity to get in front of your most important installers. So we are dedicated to innovation, and we are dedicated to providing easily accessible renewable energy products to every family and individual. And that might sound like quite a task, but we do have the products to be able to deliver that. Chris Cashin is our technical support manager, and he is on here, and he's going to go through some of the more technical aspects of the installation process. And that is going to be a deep dive into our Mango Power M, our whole home energy storage system. And he's also going to go through a step-by-step installation of the product. And then we do, as Julia said, want to be able to have some time to answer whatever questions that you have. So Mango Power, yes, we're a relatively new company. We started shipping our first product, a crowdfunded product, back in November of 21. Last fall, we started shipping our Mango Power E, and it has had amazing success since we started shipping that product. And then this summer, we launched our Mango Power M line, and that is one of the key elements of today's discussion. And I will go on to the Mango E. So this device, it doesn't need installation, but it is a device that we truly believe every customer can benefit from, because it is a completely self-contained unit. The base unit has 3.5 kilowatt hours of storage and 3,000 watts of output. And yes, it is perfect for fun and tailgating and so forth, but it is also perfect for home backup in the event that you don't have any other, honestly, it's like a solution that just covers so many bases. You can use it in backup mode while it's constantly being charged. And you obviously can charge it with our portable solar panels, and you can use any solar array to charge this device up to about 2,000 watts of PV input. And you can really make the use of a generator efficient by only using the generator to recharge these devices. So somebody that wants to stay off the grid for extended period of time, the combination of being able to use 2 cups of fuel to charge your Mango E is truly a very effective way of managing it. So yeah, the portable solar panels, they basically fold up into a portfolio size case. They weigh about 19 pounds, and you can set them up and get charging very quickly and easily with the MPE device. Now, it can also be stacked. So if you do add a second device and expansion batteries, this configuration will give you 14 kilowatt hours of storage, 6,000 watts of output, and 240 split phase. So you're actually able to use our M Panel Pro and connect this to your home panel, and it can be, in this case, as a home backup, really, like I said, up to 14 kilowatt hours in this configuration. So yes, you have different configurations for different type of uses. If you just use the base unit and the expansion battery, that gives you 7 kilowatt hours of 3,000 watts of output. But like I said, if you do combine the two, you do get the 14 kilowatt hours and 240 split phase. So I just wanted to briefly go over our MPE. This is a product in stock at Krannich as well, and doesn't require much installation, but it's definitely a product that we want you all to know that you have and can offer to your customers. So this also, like all of our products, does utilize CATL LFP technology. And one of the things that we're able to do is give a full 10-year warranty on this product because of the quality of those cells. So all of it can be controlled through your app as well. And again, it's a very simple out-of-the-box solution for somebody that basically maybe isn't ready to do a full solar installation, but is interested in at least dipping their toe in the water and understanding the technology and having a product that will be very functional and useful for them from the time they bring it home. After the call, we will follow up with everybody that attended. We'll send the specs and other information about the products that we are discussing. That pretty much sums it up for the MPE. And before I do turn it over to Chris to go through the installation process of our MPM, we just thought we'd go ahead and see if there were any questions about this product that we can address before we move on. All right, I'm not seeing that. So Chris, why don't I turn it over to you, take control, and let's learn about our Mango Power M whole home unit.
Yeah, let me just switch it over here real quick. Okay, yeah, thanks everyone for taking the time to come out. So I'm just gonna go through here the Mango Power M. So this product has been launched by us about 6 months ago. So it's a relatively new product, and over the last 2 months, or 3 months rather, I've kind of been traveling around the country and Puerto Rico doing installations. So right now I'm back in my home in Vancouver, kind of in between. Yeah, I was just in Puerto Rico last week and going to California tomorrow. So if you have any questions about the installation or anything after the meeting, I'd be happy to follow up with you personally. We can schedule a meeting, kind of go over anything that you have. So yeah, we'll just kind of jump into it now. So The system is comprised where they have two main components. So you have the M cabinet and the M hybrid inverter there. So each cabinet is up to 21 kilowatt hours. You can stack up to 4 cabinets on a single inverter. Each inverter is 12 kW continuous output and 24 peak. And you can stack up to 10 inverters for, say, like a light commercial application, or just, you know, a larger home if you wanted to, you know, do 100 amp service. So everything is included with this. So we supply all the cables, the auto transfer switch, the RSD is built into it, and the 200 amp pass-through breakers, including the 200 amp battery breakers. It supports both existing AC coupled solar systems, as well as up to 18 kW of direct DC coupled PV. You can also incorporate a generator with it, so you can basically, based on the state of charge of the battery, the auto start will come on and turn the generator on. So we'll just kind of go through it here, and it really is designed as kind of a whole home backup. So the main lugs in the, or terminals rather, in the inverter are designed to go directly between the service feed, or the 200 amp service for the house, and then directly back into the main panel. So we're backing up the whole home rather than having to segregate out an essential load panel for the customer. So it saves both on the installation time and the cost through to the customer as well. So anything, you know, from air conditioning to stoves, dishwashers, dryers, it covers it all. So it's 120 to 240. So again, you know, backup for the whole house. The battery packs are based on 6,000 cycles. So on a, you know, a normal consumption of a house, it actually guarantees them to have about 20 years of usage. And again, to what Patrick said, all the battery packs are CATL brand. So they're the leading EV battery manufacturer by volume, producing for, you know, Tesla, Mercedes-Benz, BMW. So everything is back to them. They're low voltage, 45 volt batteries, and yeah, pretty much the best you can get. Product is UL certified. The cabinet itself is actually NEMA 4X, so fully outdoor rated, along with the inverter. Can be put outside, so it's indoor and outdoor rated for that. And the optional 5-year warranty, giving it the longest in the industry. So the customer will receive the 10-year warranty for the product, and then they have the option either through you as the installer, or after that they can upgrade to the 5-year warranty. So it's like a value added purchase. So you can offer it to the customer directly as part of the installation package, or if they don't want it that time, they can opt later to add it on to their system. And then, yeah, just kind of quickly going over the inverter here. Like I said, it's really built as an all-in-one. So it includes the RSD, the auto generator start, if they have a generator of both AC and DC coupled, and it has the built-in 200 amp pass-through breakers. And then we supply the high current or high capacity cables to go from the cabinet to the inverter. So everything that you need basically from our end is supplied. So we'll just kind of quickly go through the installation process. I've kind of broken it down into 6 steps, starting with what it looks like when it shows up at the customer's house. So everything is going to be delivered to the customer's house on a pallet. So it's quite easy to manage. So kind of starting at the top, the inverter is going to be there, then the cabinet, then the battery modules are on the bottom. So there's no need to go pick anything up, and this just gets drop shipped right to the customer's address, or it is available for pickup as well. And usually what I recommend, just to keep the project or the installation kind of organized, is just starting at the top of the shipment and then working your way down. So the first thing you want to do is mount the inverter, and then you can remove the cabinet and position that, and then the battery modules slide into the cabinet. So we'll kind of just quickly go over the internals of the inverter here. So again, it's 12 kilowatts continuous and 24 peak. So these are your grid terminals here. So you're just going to land your 200 amp service coming in from the grid, and then this feeds back out to the main lugs on the customer's existing panel. Here's the AC coupled or generator. So if they have the existing AC coupled solar system, they can terminate it here, or if they have a generator, it's also supported through that. And then the 200 amp pass-through breakers are right there as well. So that's all included. And then if we jump to the other side of the inverter here, this is the RSD modules built in. So it's an AP Smart Systems transmitter, but it's brand agnostic in that if you want to change it out for another module, you can. Actually, the last project I did in Puerto Rico, they need to change that to the Tigo, or Tigo, however you want to pronounce it, and it takes probably about 10 minutes to change out the module on that. And then that you can use it, like I said, with existing receivers if they already have a system. We supply, again, all the cables, they're pre-terminated, so they just terminate on the lugs here, and then they're just torqued down. And then all the dry contact switching, and then the MPPT input for PV. So there's actually 4 input channels across 3 MPPTs. So the first 2 channels are parallel together, so the cells, or the panels rather, just need to face the same orientation. And then the other 2 are separate after that. So yeah, it's quite easy. Basically, I would always recommend 2 people. The heaviest component of the system is actually the inverter, and it's just under 120 pounds. So it's supported by brackets. So you're just measuring up the bracket height and then lifting the inverter onto position to hang it into it. The next step is the battery cabinet. So it's a modular design. So the batteries, like I said, they're shipped separately on the base there, the pallet, and they're about 103 pounds, and they're just slid into the back of or the side rather, if you will, of the cabinet. And these can be field swapped or added later. So if the customer starts with a 15 kilowatt hour system or even a 10 kilowatt hour system, and they decide later that they want to increase their storage, you can just go back out, take the cover off the cabinet, and then just slide in a new module and then connect it into the bus bar system in there, and then just turn the battery on, and then they now have an additional 5 kilowatt hour of capacity, or 10 if they started with 10. And then you can scale with each inverter, you can actually scale up to 4 cabinets, so up to 80 kilowatt hours, and then kind of in 5 kilowatt increments, any amount in between that. And then the cabinet is basically just positioned on the wall, and there's a small supporting bracket that goes in behind it, and that's just to keep it from tilting forward. There's no actual load or weight to bear by that bracket. It's just to prevent it from tipping forward. And it's there's 4 feet rather on the base of the cabinet, and those are just adjusted with a wrench to ensure that it's sitting level, and all the weight is actually floor mounted. So just going back quickly to the battery packs, that's them there. So like I said, they're about 103 pounds. So it's pretty easily managed by one person to slide into the cabinet. 6,000 cycles, so in a self-consumption or a daily consumption mode for the inverter, they'll last over 20 years. And then again, the 10+5 warranty, so the customer can opt for the extra 5, or can be supplied at the time of activation through you. And yeah, once the batteries are in the cabinet, again, as part of this, we supply all the cables. So each battery has 2 cables, a positive and a negative, and they just clip in to the rail system inside the battery cabinet. And then they're just addressed from 1 to 4 using dip switching addresses. And then they're just secured in position with 2 fasteners inside the cabinet, and then just repeat it from 2 to 4 times inside the cabinet, and then that's it for the installation of the batteries. So, and then the final step is just connecting everything inside the inverter. So just kind of going back here, you have your grid connections, your connections that go back out to your main service panel, the battery cables. Again, they're pre-terminated on the cabinet end, so they just snap or plug and play design, if you will. And then you have your PV module. So in this install, it was all DC coupled. So they actually did have 4 inputs. So they maxed it out around 16 kW of PV. So just slightly under the 18 kW, but more than enough for the house. And then we also supply the CT transformers and the battery communication cable. So those you'll see just terminated there, and they just click on around the grid feed. So that's what monitors the grid power. And then when it goes out, it includes, like I said, the auto transfer switch to the battery cabinet comes on, and then starts supplying the house in under 20 milliseconds. So the customer won't, even really see the lights flicker in the event that the power does go out. And then for commissioning, everyone's favorite part. So the commissioning is all done for the most part through the app. So once the app's downloaded, you're just going to find the system with Bluetooth, and then you're just going to connect to it. You can label the house or something like that for the customer, so it's easier. And then once that's connected to the app, there's just 3 modes of operation that they need to select. So they can select like a time-based. So say in California or other markets where they have peak billing, you're able to enter up to 3 time-based windows in like an ascending order. So the battery is going to prioritize consumption of itself during those periods to allow the customer to shift off of those peak billing windows. And then likewise, it's going to look to charge outside of those windows if needed, and then they set their battery backup threshold. So in this case, they're in Puerto Rico, so they're looking to maintain a much higher percentage in anticipation of the power going out. In other markets where the power is stable and they're just looking to utilize the battery for, say, like I said, consumption or load shifting, you can allow that to go much lower. And then over the nighttime, the battery is not going to recharge. It's going to wait until the morning when the sun comes back out and look to use solar or PV to charge it back up. So you would set it much lower to like 10%, but that's based on the customer's demand. And then these settings, the customer can at any time go back into their app and they can adjust. So if they are not on a time-based billing, and they really just have it as backup, but later or eventually they do get introduced to a time of billing platform, they can just go into the app themselves, change the mode. So there's no need for a service call or anything like that, and they can contact our tech support and we can kind of walk them through changing that as well. And then there's also the screen that comes with it. So this is the M Smart screen that's shipped with the system. So it just gives the customer or you as the installer a second point of control and monitoring. So this is mounted via HDMI cable to the inverter and then usually installed locally close to the equipment to give them that point of monitoring or control. So you can also commission the system completely through the screen as well. So there's no need to worry that you have to use the app. You have the option to use one or the other. And yeah, we can just kind of quickly go over the comparison, but I would say overall, even for the first installation, the installers that I've worked with, even guiding them through the installation, to mount the equipment and install the batteries and have everything up and running, it is less than 4 hours. Some have done it in 3 hours, and that's even with me there, kind of guiding them and trying to train them on the system as well as them install it. So it's all in one. There's not really much other way to put it. And then again, like Patrick said, we'll be sending you all these specs. And then if you have any questions, we'd be happy to schedule calls or meetings after to go over any questions you may have outside of this. We'll just get that sent over. And then we do have financing available for the system as well. So the way the financing works, we would connect you with our financing company, and they would just require some documentation such as trade licenses and business information to be qualified through their platform, and then it allows you to present financing for the M to the customer. So there's various terms, but they're starting at 0% for a 12-month term. And then anything you need in terms of like marketing support or flyers or kind of like pamphlets to present the system in a way that's more customer focused or friendly to help them understand the product. we can assist you with that as well. So kind of some selling features that would, incentivize the customer to purchase it, allowing them to save money, control. They have, backup in the event their power goes out. The warranty, or explaining that to them in a more customer-focused way. We can provide you that along, co-branded with your company's information. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up an introduction to the product and a brief overview of the installation. So if you have any questions, we can go through them now.
We do pride ourselves on the fact that it is a very simple, out of the box, quick install. And yes, I would invite anybody that has any questions at all to please try to stump Crit.
Yeah, there's a couple here in the chat, so we can just, we can send out a copy of all the slides in the presentation. We'll send that to everybody after, along with all the specs.
Yeah, so we have on here, there's quite a few questions coming in. It looks like David asked, is the inverter a required part of the system, and even with microinverters?
Well, the inverter is what interfaces with the battery cabinet. So that's what's used to supply power to the customer's house. So it's sold as a complete package. So there would be no way really of you connecting like the battery cabinet directly to the customer's panel to provide backup. So I would say yes, you would need the inverter. And regarding like microinverters on an AC coupled system, yes, if you come to like an existing inverter that they have, that can be terminated onto the AC coupled portion, either the generator or the like an existing AC coupled system. Can the battery cabinet be wall mounted? No. The bracket that comes with the battery cabinet is just to prevent it from tipping forward. Once the batteries are loaded into the cabinet, it's going to be pretty close to 600 pounds, 550 pounds. So you would have to build some pedestal or something like that that's capable of supporting that way. But the bracket that's supplied with is not intended for wall mounting. It's just to prevent it from tipping forward. How much AC coupled PV can be connected? So you can do 240 volt, 50 amp, or you can do 120, 100 amp. But and that applies as well for the generator. The largest load that can be backed up. Well, the inverter is 50 amps continuous, so, or 12 kW. In saying that, it will support 14 kilowatts for 10 minutes, and it'll support 16 kilowatts for 5 minutes. And then its absolute peak is 24 kilowatts for 500 milliseconds. So that would give you like your LRA or your lockup for like an air conditioner or something like that. But you can parallel the inverters for higher output. So you can parallel 2 inverters, and then you now have double. So you have 100 amp continuous rating on them, and you could go up to 10. So depending on the size of the house, if they have the requirement or the demand, or some houses may even have a 400 amp service, and then you could definitely look to have multiple inverters. That being said, you can also configure the inverters in the 3-phase power arrangement, or you can also be configured to support 120, 208 voltage. The payback of a system. It's going to depend really on the customers, like demographic, like where they are, and then their consumption, especially if they're like during like a peak billing hour, or if they have like what their consumption is. It's kind of hard to gauge that. Prices, that will all be sent out as well. Patrick is going to go over some offers as part of this webinar, And then any pricing after that, everything will be provided directly through Krannich.
Thanks. Just keep the screen and just advance it.
Okay.
So we do have some very intentional offers in place with Krannich. We want to be able to encourage an installer to be able to get one of these installed as quickly as possible. So we are providing a free one. So we have a buy one, get one free offer through Krannich on the MPM system, both the 15 and the 20 kilowatt hour system. We also are offering that on our Mango Power E. So if you have a customer or somebody that's interested in that portable device, we want you to be able to have one as well. So the sooner that you start using that device, the more enthusiastic you'll get about it. And in all honesty, the beautiful thing about the MPE is simple. Whether you have a customer that's already a solar customer or not, this device can be just a fantastic thing to have around, because if somebody doesn't have solar, the day they bring it home, they have a backup device, but they also have something they can have a lot of fun with. So I highly encourage getting a hold of one of the MPEs as well.
Yeah, I think there's two more questions here. Sorry. So, what size GT inverters can be connected to the terminal? So I'm assuming GT is grid tied inverter. So yeah, the system is grid tied as well. So it supports up to 12 kW of grid export, or that can be disabled if they don't actually want to do that. It's optional. So that being said, yeah, the same if it's like a existing AC coupled to be connected to the AC coupled side of our inverter, it's 240-50 amps. So that's the largest that can be connected to it. So if that wasn't the question, what is it? What size GT inverter? Just type out it again, and we can go over that.
Yeah, our goal.
Okay,
Our goal
installation temperatures. Yeah, you can install it from 32F to 140. So in places like New Jersey or where I live in Canada, it definitely gets a lot colder than that. So you'll be looking to install it in either like a conditioned garage. You can install it inside. It doesn't have to go outside, or you'd have to put it in some sort of a conditioned space that just keeps it above those temperatures. So some people are getting like a tiny, like a utility shed. If you're familiar with like the boiler or like hydronic heating industry, that people will put them in like a utility style shed and then they just heat that. That is an option, or like I said, inside the garage or somewhere that's a conditioned space. If they have a basement and they're allowed to have it inside, that can be another option as well. How does it work to sell unused power back to the grid? So yeah, the control system you can configure for grid export up to 12 kW. So somewhere like Puerto Rico, where they're not allowed to actually export up to 12K, they're limited to 8 kW. You can adjust on the smart screen or actually even in the app the grid sellback. So in the base mode, or what would be like self-consumption, it's going to prioritize the house's power to be used directly from the PV and then the battery. And then if those conditions are met and then there's excess power, it'll then export the remaining power to the grid automatically once the grid export is enabled. I think that's the you can install, yeah, in sunlight. The only thing with the inverter is if it's outside, there has to be an easement over top of it just to prevent rainwater from going directly down onto the back of the inverter, where that's where the fans are. Oh, sorry, Patrick, go ahead. I think that's all the questions.
No worries. I was just going to share that we had intended to take no more than a half an hour of the actual time for the presentation, because we did want to make sure that we were available to answer any questions that somebody has. So we are available to stay on for as long as necessary for questions. But yeah, just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that This is going to be available through Krannich's site for a recording if you want to share it with somebody, or if you have any other questions for us after this, you can absolutely reach out to Chris or myself.
Somebody said, does fire code require heat detectors? If your local code requires a heat detector, for example, in Roseville, California, where I'll be going to tomorrow, yes, they have to have heat detectors at the point of install or the location that it's installed, but theirs is going to be installed in the garage of the house. So you'd want to definitely check with the local code exactly what is required. We can coordinate after to discuss it, but that just being an example, yeah, in California, they have to have a heat detector in the garages where it's installed, so that code will apply.
The codes are going to be different depending on where you are, obviously, but one of the true value benefits of the LFP technology is that there is no chance of thermal runaway. So these systems cannot catch on fire. They cannot, basically, if they were engulfed in a fire, say something happened in a kitchen and it ended up engulfing this unit, there can be no secondary damage, meaning they're not going to explode. There's no poisonous fumes. It'll burn hot, but it'll burn out. So it's incredibly safe to have amongst your, around the home. Was there another slide? Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. I think this is just the.
So yes, these are obviously available through Krannich, and this buy one, get one free offer is through December 31st. There's stock in the warehouse today. So Chris, his availability is declining, but he's still taking appointments to be available in real time for your first installation. So there will be no fear of doing this without the support you need, but as we've pointed out, we make it pretty darn easy. Well, Julia, we thank you. And like I said, we'll stay on as long as there's anybody on here, but we certainly don't want to take anybody's time that has already experienced enough of us.
Thank you guys so much. It was a great presentation. And I hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, everybody.
So it looks like a couple questions coming in. Is that right?
Oh, pricing per unit. So yeah, those, Dominic, I think you can direct those directly to Julia, or will, depending on which branch you'd be buying out of, we can connect you to the appropriate person for orders. Is there, Julia, is there like a contact slide you want to just pull up maybe that they can?
Yeah, I can bring up our contact page.
Yeah.
So Julia, do you generally follow up with everybody that attended, because we can make sure that you have everything you need as far as sending them?
Yeah, so we'll be sending a follow-up email with this webinar recording tomorrow. It'll be sent out to all the attendees.
Perfect.
And then here's our contact information. You can also head over to our website if you're not sure what territory you should be going to.
I think that was the last question.
Well, I want to thank Julia for having it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys again.
Thank you, Chris, for your expertise. And thank you, everybody, for taking the time to learn about Mango Power.